Views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Vegas AllNet Radio, its affiliates, or its parent company.
Welcome to Luminosity Wellness Radio Show. I am Jeff Furnell, and I'm here with my co-host, Josh Carpenter, Mr. Blue.
Good gosh, hello.
Unfortunately, we're not with our lovely co-host today, Christine Essex. She had some family issues to deal with. So it's just me and Josh today. And then, of course, our lovely guest that we have today is Sheila Z. Sterling, Ph.D. She's an award-winning author, professional speaker, healing and relationship coach with over 25 years in health and wellness industries. So how are you doing, Sheila?
Oh, well, thank you. I'm doing great, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. I hope you had a great holiday weekend.
Amazing.
Or
amazing.
a holiday season, I should say.
Yes, it was a prolonged holiday season.
So true.
And we hope all of our listeners out there also had a wonderful holiday season and a safe one as well. What did you do this holiday season, Josh?
I rested. This was an opportunity for me to reflect in the year and find out what I really wanted for the new year, and I put focus into that and just kind of stayed low key during the holiday season this last year.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Me, I did about the same. I just relaxed a little bit and just enjoyed the holidays with the family and my kids, so it was really nice and quiet. And then again, that quiet time, I took some time to just sit there and think and reflect on how I want my business to look at the end of this year and what I want to put my energy into this year. So it was a very nice time.
Nice. So did you come up with any, big realizations at all?
Well, there's a lot of things that I'm going to adjust and evolve in my practice as well. But the one exciting thing that I am really excited about is I have finally got confirmed with Andrew Mahalik, if I'm saying his name right. But me and him are going to join together to start doing some sound bowl meditations. Which I'm really excited about. I heard him doing some sound bowl meditations a few months back, and I was like, oh my God, this is what my meditation needs, is some good sound bowls. So I've been talking to him, and we're going to start doing that at Luminosity Center on Friday nights.
So for those that are new to sound bowls meditation versus just regular meditation, what's the difference in that for some of our new listeners to this industry?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to heal, of course, and sound is definitely one of those ways with the vibration of sound. So with the crystal bowls, you have different tunes and different frequencies that each bowl holds, and then with that vibration, it puts that nice vibration throughout the airwaves, I guess I want to say,
nice.
And through the bodies, and it's absolutely amazing. I know when I went to when Andrew was working with some other people, and I went to that meditation, the way that sound just surrounded the room, just circled the room, it was just absolutely amazing. So I'm really, really excited to be working with him, and we're gonna make it a really fun packed night. We're gonna start the night out with some sound bowl meditations from 6:30 to 7:30, and then from 7:30 to about 9ish, we're gonna do a Reiki healing circle. Continue the sound bowls going throughout the Reiki healing, and then after that at 9 o'clock, we are sometime around 9 o'clock, we will start drum meditation and make a full evening of it. So it should be a lot of fun. So I'm not sure exactly what date we'll be starting this, but it definitely will be in the next couple of weeks. So
now, if our audience out there hasn't done Reiki before, is this something that they would have to have done in order to attend, or can anybody attend this?
No, anybody can attend it. It's we're not sure if there's going to be a cost or anything. Most likely it'll be a love donation. But no, you just come and you attend, you enjoy the sounds of the bowls, a little bit of drumming maybe might be going on at that time as well too. But just come and enjoy it, and if you're just there for a healing, you can come and get a healing. If you want to come and share your love and heal people as well, you're more than welcome to come. You don't have to be a licensed practitioner or anything, just come and share the love.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it's kind of like a healing meditation as well, because you said that there was sound.
Yes,
healing
it'll be a
sounds.
healing, and then I'll do as well. I'll do a guided meditation through there, where I'll do downloads with the theta healing that I do. So yeah, it's going to be really neat. We're still putting it all together, so it's going to be a work in progress for right now. But it should be a lot of fun, and yeah, definitely a lot of healing going on.
Sweet. Well, I know that we really don't get the opportunity to speak too much with you specifically about your business with the sacred art of healing. And I'd really like to touch on that, because I think the work that you do is kind of important. And I'd maybe even like to include Sheila in this a little bit too, in order to give Jeff some recognition before we get into the second part of this. You said that you're really doing some growth in your own business, and I think a lot of what you do in your practice reflects on the community in the center and how you really help people. What are you going to be doing differently this year in order to reach out to more people?
Well, my main thing that I do is theta healing. I'm also a Reiki master as well, and I've studied shamanic work and a bunch of other things. Theta healing is where my drive goes into, my passion goes into. I love just the way that it was created, the way you use theta healing. It's the way that I think. So for me, it's great. It works on the emotional level, the subconscious. Sheila, I know you work with a lot of these energies as well too, and work on the emotional level as this, so you can chime in anytime. But for me, as far as my business goes, I mainly work with theta healing right now because it works for me. It's, like I said, it's the way I think and everything. It just fits perfect for me. But I'm going to start to evolve it more and start to get in more into nutrition and stuff like that as well too, so I can keep expanding my practice and keep growing for my clients as well too, because there's definitely more, there's all kinds of ways to heal besides just the emotional aspect. And one of my passions, besides, I think the emotional component is really strong as far as the healing goes, but we also have to look into, as we'll get talking with Sheila here, our food. We have to look at it as medicine and use it as medicine as well too. So that's where my next step is with my business, is going into that direction.
That's great, because it may not be one way, but always. We're like this incredible, intense and puzzle. There's just thousands of pieces, and the more pieces you put together, the clearer the picture becomes. So
yes, and I firmly believe that we want to support the body in many different ways. So if somebody comes in and sees me and I'm working on the emotional level, I definitely want them to go out and find nutrition that's going to help support that area as well too, because there's definitely many ways to heal. And like you were talking before, the sound carries a vibration. Certain herbs carry a vibration. So if that herb matches the vibration of the emotion that I'm working on, it's going to only support it and help it heal faster, or change faster, I should say.
that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff and I were having lunch, and we were talking about how our mind actually affects the ailments of our body recipient. If that makes sense. So basically what I'm trying to say is, a lot of how we think, for example, is if you're stressed, and then you're going to start feeling certain areas of your physical body impacted by that stress. And one of the interesting things are, Jeff really can break it down into what is that specific feeling that you're having for that ailment. And I thought that was really quite interesting, because it really allows you to be able to focus more on what's behind the Band-Aid, if you will. I've experienced a lot of doctors will just give you a medication and not really ask you what's going on. Whereas with the theta healing and with what Jeff does, it really allows you to get to the heart of what it is that's causing it, so you no longer have to deal with it anymore, or it can at least get better for you and change in your life. Would you say that's right or accurate?
Yes, 100%. Our emotions affect our body in so many different ways. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel today? Are you sad? Are you happy? What do you feel? That is how your body's going to start to react. If you're feeling sad, your body's going to start to be sad, depressed, not be really motivated to give you much energy. So yeah, our emotions affect our body and our health instantly. I say instantly, because you can sit there and what happens if you all of a sudden you run across your soulmate or something like that, or somebody that you're just really attracted to, all of a sudden you get a bunch of energy, you're ready to take on the world and stuff. All of a sudden, just because you fell in love or you had that spark. And so it's to me, it's instantly. So as soon as you have a negative thought, it changes the body instantly into a negative form.
Well, it changes all the cells. It does change all the cells. And feeling is heart-based, where emotion is more ego-based. So when someone's experiencing a feeling, it's more genuine usually. And emotion usually comes from a reaction to somebody else's action or reaction. So I believe it's important to differentiate between the two, because a lot of people think that they just can't differentiate between what is a feeling and what is an emotion. So.
Yeah, and I agree. To me, with my practice, I want my clients to be able to really identify with their feelings.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what I found within me. I can switch it within a second. You know, I can be upset if I want to, but then I can decide to wait a minute. I don't want to be upset anymore. I want to go to that happiness, and that's where we have that free will, that choice, is to choose what feelings we want to have at any present time. And it doesn't matter what happened to me around, you know, in my experience. It could be really negative, but it's my choice on how I want to look at it. And as a matter of fact, I wrote down there's something in your book, a line in your book that I absolutely love, Sheila. You wrote in there, "You are the creator of your world, and you choose how you view it." And that's exactly the way I look at life as well, too. How do you feel about the world?
It's true, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every moment, all of our cells are communicating with all the cells. So it's very true. And it sounds really easy for us to say, oh, well, we can just change it. It's not always that easy, but to know that your cells will always do as they are sort of commanded. I mean, they're always in a complete state of flux. So it is very fluid and it is movable, and you can unwind anything. So thank you for writing that down.
Well, I was looking through it this morning. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly me right there, because it is. It truly, your perspective, how you feel about the world is truly how you create your reality. They talk about life as an illusion, and to me, that is the illusion, is our reality, our perspective on the things. Yes. Because once you change your perspective, you change your whole world in an instant.
I agree 100%.
So I think this will be a great opportunity in order to give a shout out to some of our sponsors and then go to our commercial break. We'd really like to thank all of you for sponsoring with us. We have Essex 7-Eleven,
All Service Inc.
All Service Inc. We also have Impact Image Marketing and the Sacred Art of Healing, and much more. We'd like to thank all of you so much, and we're going to go ahead and
let's not forget the biggest sponsor here, and
please.
Luminosity Wellness Center.
Thank you.
They are our sponsor. They are the show.
It's a wonderful wellness center.
It is. I'm so blessed to be a part of it. But yes, Luminosity Wellness Center, thank you for putting on the show and letting us be part of the show.
Yes, we appreciate you and love you. And we're going to go to our sponsors and our commercial break. And we'll be
Welcome back to Luminosity Wellness Radio. I'm Jeff Rennell. I'm here with my co-host, Josh Carpenter, Mr. Blue.
Hello.
And we have our special guest with us, Sheila Z. Sterling. She's a PhD, also award-winning author, professional speaker, healing and relationship coach with over 25 years in the health and wellness industry. How are you doing, Sheila?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
That's kind of like deja vu, huh?
Yes.
So you are award-winning author for sure, and you have written this book here, Anatomy of Healing and Wellness. For a second there, my mouth didn't want to work.
That's all right.
I have been looking through this. I absolutely love this book. For me, what I do and my passion into the wellness industry, this is exactly up my alley right here. Yes, an amazing book. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about that, though, if I could.
Absolutely.
The electric body in there. Could you explain what you mean to our listening audience by the electric body?
Okay, well, basically we are electrical. And that is why our mineral content and the levels of certain things, hormones and different things in the body are so important. People don't realize that, and that's actually the reason why hydration, one of the main reasons, is so important, because we are conductive. Our body, we are electric. I mean, if something happens and your heart stops, they basically, put the paddles on you and give you a new charge. And it works most of the time.
I never even looked at it that way, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
they're giving you a little more charge.
Yeah, they're charging you up like a battery, actually. And it'll start the heart again. And that's the way it is. When your life force is full and in bloom, I mean, it's just amazing. And if that starts to wane, so does your health. And people sometimes don't realize, they feel, it's my age or it's whatever, but it's not. You can be vibrant until you're 120, but you have to sort of keep track and know where things are at. So
yeah, I agree. But the reason I brought up the electric body, because I wonder if our listening audience really looks at themselves that way. Because I know as a kid growing up, I never, I can't say I never did because I had weird thoughts, but but most of us grow up looking life as the physical, not
Right.
really as we're electricity, we're energy.
Yes.
Like Albert Einstein has shown us.
Yes.
And so when we start to look at ourselves as energy rather than a physical being, it changes everything, doesn't it?
It absolutely changes everything. And people who are blessed with the opportunity to step to the other side, which I'm one of those people, you absolutely know that we are energy. And when you come back, you come back with an acute awareness of just how etheric we really are, and just how that balance is very, very important. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So then we can almost look at ourselves in a different way than when we start to go into heal the body then, or change the body, I should say. If we look at it as being energy, we can go and look at it a different way to start to change the body in changing our health.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, energetically, the body responds to many, many different avenues in many different ways. The body wants to be well. So it will respond to just about anything. So we want to make sure we're putting in exactly what we want it to respond to and the way we would like it to respond. So it's a really important aspect. In my book, I thank you very much for reading it. I have a whole list of all the different minerals, the major ones and the minor ones, and what foods you can get them out of and how you can get them.
Yeah, and that's the last chapter in the book here.
Nope. It's in the middle. Where
Oh, maybe I
it's
missed it.
actually in the chapter, I think, that says your electric body. Because if you turn a couple pages, you'll start to see I talk about minerals.
Okay.
Because it's conductive.
Okay, I was just looking at you on section 4 here. You have using food as medicine, so I didn't
yes.
know if you were getting into that part of it.
No.
Awesome. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. Ask a question.
So I also had saw in there that how you synchronize the conscious and unconscious in doing that in order to keep balance. Is that right?
It goes far beyond balance, but people, it's the subconscious is running the boat. A lot of people say, oh, just think something and you'll change it. And that's, okay, I may upset some people by saying this, that's wonderful to say. But the reality is, unless you can actually go in and change all 100 trillion cells, that's where you get some of these miraculous changes and people that suddenly go into remission or something triggered that. So, and what it is when your cells all begin to get it, it's like the 100th monkey, it will go in that direction. So, how did you put the question again? Because I want to answer it correctly.
About how the
synchronizing.
Right,
Yeah.
synchronizing unconscious and conscious.
So what it's about is what we think consciously. Everybody wants to be well. You ask anybody, nobody wants to get sick. However, the whole underlying thing, if you were 5 and you were ill or had chickenpox, whatever, and everybody brought you ice cream and they were so nice to you, this makes an imprint on all of the cells. And there are so many people in their adult life who identify with their illnesses rather than with their wellnesses. And so because, they get attention, everyone's nice to them, and I don't mean that in a bad way or a cruel way at all. It's very important to realize that once you can synchronize your cells, how powerful is it that all 100 trillion cells are moving in the same direction? And in my workshops, I have a nationally accredited workshop actually, and hopefully it's a retreat, it will be a retreat, but I teach a method. I teach a method that actually takes people what I call outside time and space, because that kind of motion actually happens in the quantum field. You
Wow.
know, being able to reach all 100 trillion cells. And if I can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's how I feel. We can all do it.
Yeah, and that's me personally. That's the message I want to get out to so many people too. Is we all have this ability. You know I thought this way, but I never really had these abilities until I worked with it and was trained to use them. And now it's absolutely amazing. It's changed my whole life. And it's like, man, people, if you don't realize you have intuitive abilities and you're not using them yet, you're only half living.
Right.
There's so many amazing tools you get to use with your intuitive ability that can help you out in life. It's awesome.
Oh, I know. You want to run down the street with a big sign going, "Oh, wake up, come on." Let's all awaken now. So it's true.
But we all awake at our own time and when we choose to do it, because we
Divine
are here
timing.
to experience certain things, and
Absolutely.
that's what we're going through. I do like where you're asking on that too, because that's a big thing. You know, and I know Dr. Wayne Dyer talked about that a lot. Change your thoughts, change your life and stuff, which to me is just the start of it.
Yes.
Because how do you truly feel? What's your true perspective on that? Because at least what I've seen and the way I look at myself as well is we're masters of manipulating ourselves.
Exactly.
You know, as well as others, but we can manipulate ourselves, and I can say, oh yeah, I'm happy, I'm fine, but truly inside I might not be, and I might be panicked, and I might be stressed, and that's truly what I'm feeling, and that's truly what the body's feeling in the cells.
That's true.
Over the happiness. It was with Bashar. I was listening. Well, I don't know if you know who Bashar is, but I was listening to a video the other day on him.
Brendan.
And they were talking about that. That's just the feeling of that and how it can just change instantly.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Okay. Well, the feeling of fear and the feeling of gratefulness can exist in the same space at the same time. So one way that people can start to really get it and realize that they can change it is when you're in that moment of despair. In that moment, it might sound kind of strange, but start lining up, even if it's like, I'm so grateful that I have grass. I'm so grateful that, that I can put my feet in the sand. I'm so grateful for every moment of my wellness. Whatever, because it will dispel the fear.
Yeah, I agree. And we forget about that a lot of times, to be grateful for just the basic things.
Yeah.
You know?
Every breath.
It is a lot about what we think about and how we think. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in the military, and for 10 years I went through Western medicine in order to really discover what doctors were telling me about Crohn's and what their visions on Western medicine and it was. But really, when it all came down to it, it came to the way that I think about it and how I consider my pain, and really once I started evaluating the mental aspects of the disease, it really went hand in hand with relieving the physical ailments that I was getting, and I've been in remission for about 5 years now since I've stopped most Western medications and started just using a different mindset, and then also just being more conscious of what I'm eating and how I'm living too. So with that, I can attest to the way that we think really affects how these ailments are getting treated, and what people are telling us and what we're believing is really having an impact on that too. So I really hear what both of you are saying.
And absolutely, and I'd like to speak to that, because so many people, and don't get me wrong, I admire MDs, people that go through 20 years of schooling. I think it's wonderful. But if you've ever been told by somebody that you look up to, peers, that there's no way you could ever recover from this. You know what that feels like. And if you buy into that, like I was saying, sooner or later, all the cells buy into that. And you have to have the presence of mind to stand up and say, you're wrong. I'm going to recover 110%, because that's the human spirit. That's my spirit. And not listen to people who you think might be
know-it-alls.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but okay, thank you for saying that.
Let's just put it.
Yeah, your belief is so strong. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And people talk about, oh, it's a miracle and stuff, but it's their belief, their
right.
drive that kept them alive and that got them better. Yeah, amazing stuff. I always like George Burns. He drank, he smoked. I mean, he did everything you were not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But he lived, what was it, to 100?
Yeah.
Over 100 or 103, I forget. But yeah, because he was happy. He had a good, positive mindset.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is very important.
So you talk about the breath of life as well in your book, and I know Josh was just mentioning it there. How important is the breath of life?
Well, how important is air?
How
Let me
important is
ask you that.
breathing?
How important is it to be able to oxygenate all the cells? Probably up to 80% of people who are breathing are not oxygenating their cells. So what is that doing? It's causing oxidation, number one, which is like rust. It's absolutely damaging. In the prehistoric time, I'm going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow night. In prehistoric time, our oxygen content on the Earth was 50%. In 1950, it was down to, I think, 33. And today, we're like 18%. So if you're not willing to learn how to breathe correctly, which is really simple, but really be able to oxygenate all of your cells, you're in real trouble. Because, well, we can't live without oxygen. And already our bodies, the declining health of the whole globe, a lot of that's due to the oxygen content and the quality of the air and different things that are happening today.
When we say breathing correctly, I had been to one of your workshops, and I had noticed that breathing correctly comes from the stomach, not from the chest.
Absolutely.
Did I get that right?
Well, if you ever watch a baby breathe, it's funny, and I'll talk about this tomorrow night. I mean, their bellies go up and down. I mean, hugely, because they're oxygenating. It comes in inherently. And if we breathe that way, there's 3 stages of breathing, which I'll talk about tomorrow night. We're actually going to do an exercise tomorrow night on that.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit about tomorrow night, because we didn't get a chance to mention that.
We're going to go do a little commercial spot really quick. As soon as we get back, why don't we get into that?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to have Lawrence take us away. You're listening to Luminosity Wellness Radio, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Luminosity Wellness Radio Show. I'm Jeff Rennell. I'm here with Josh Carpenter and our guest, Sheila Z. So, Sheila, we were talking about your book, Anatomy of Healing and Wellness. There's a little shot there for the YouTubers. All right. In section 3, there's a little spot in there that you wrote about. It says, "Who forgives?" Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Yes, I will.
You studied this thing, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, then that's just fine. Many times when we were talking about action and reaction, I've spoken in a lot of places where I ask people first, please put any fruit away, anything they can throw, because I have a specific belief about forgiveness, and it's something that I was shown when I was on the other side. And the truth is, it's none of our business. It's absolutely not our job to forgive anybody. And what I say is forgiveness is actually quiet arrogance. And I know, that really upsets a lot of people.
No, I'm so happy you went there.
Yeah, well, I'm just speaking the truth. Because here's the thing. No two people walk on the same path. And I may not like what you're doing. It may not resonate with me, but that doesn't make you wrong and me right. If somebody forgives you, that makes somebody wrong and somebody right. And that really doesn't apply to the human condition, because everybody is walking on their own path, regardless of how ridiculous or crazy it might seem, or hurtful, or betrayal, all these things, you have to realize that the only person that you can really manage and shift is your own form.
Yes.
Where you're standing in. And so that's where that came from. It's like, who forgives? It's not my job to forgive anybody. It is my discernment if I would like to be close to a person or back up a little bit, depending on where that line is. So it's really up to the individual. A lot of people blame other people, and they have heartache and, depression and all these things, and it's like, stop.
The blame game, isn't that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and it's simply people are not willing to take responsibility for the magnificent, amazing person that they are. They don't realize that the power that they have, and to blame anything on somebody else, or to say, oh, he'll never forgive me, or I'll never forgive him, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, if you just completely cut that out, well, you can replace it with the word acceptance. It's kind of crazy, but it's true.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I was kind of blind to it myself until I was talking to Dr. Russell, and he mentioned to me, he was like, yeah, in order for us to forgive, we have to place judgment, and that's wrong.
That's right.
And so, yes, we already placed judgment, and that's wrong. So it's taking ownership the way, he expressed it, and I agree. We have to take ownership. But yeah, like you said, I created that, so I'm going to take ownership for it. Mm-hmm. And truly, when I started studying this afterwards and really looking into it, I think we shouldn't look at it as forgiveness anymore. We should look at it as understanding. Because if I truly put myself in your place and I understand why you might have done what you have done, mm-hmm. then I can have that understanding.
Right.
And that starts to release all of any resentment or stuff that I have, because I understand now why you did that. And
Correct.
So I think, to me, it's, we have to have understanding, and then again, we have to own our own junk and what we put ourselves through.
Right. And even if you don't understand it, you don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
You're not walking in that person's shoes. So no two people can walk in somebody else's shoes. And it's, that I go into that a lot. My book, Love and Illusion, really deals with that a lot. There's a saying in there that I didn't write, I didn't make it up, but it says, what does it say? The best revenge is to live well.
I agree 100%.
And be happy, But I put it in there because I thought it would strike, a nerve with a lot of people who are feeling hardship at any one time, or loss, whatever it is. So
would you have any advice for people out there that might be dealing with some traumatic stuff right now, that might be going, well, wait a minute, I was looking to forgive, now what do I do? Could you give anybody some advice on that?
Well, yes, it's my opinion, of course, but rather than looking to forgive or anything like that, take a step back. Just take a step back and reflect on yourself and find your true feeling. How do you really feel about the situation that's going on? And rather than take the blame out and take the forgiveness out and realize that it's not your job to judge anybody. And so when you do that, you find an alternative route. And a lot of times you're more willing to open your arms and really feel that love and compassion. When compassion comes in, that part of your heart that opens is just miraculous. And the trauma, actually, that's one of the ways to let go of trauma. I mean, of course, we all know that tears is how our body cleanses itself and how the brain normalizes itself by actually physically raining out the trauma. But if you're in a situation, take a step back and take all of the blame out, take all of the judgment out, and realize that everything is in divine timing and everything is just perfect. And as you walk through it, just feel as bad as you feel, and you will come out the other end of it. And a brighter day.
Awesome, thank you. I got one more question. I know I want to get to your event and what you're going to be doing on Friday. I don't know if maybe this might take too much time, but there's another thing in there that I saw. What your past has to do with your future wellness. Do we have time for you to cover anything on that real quick?
Well, yes, of course.
I'm curious about that.
I'll try to be, well, our past affects everything. the majority of people that are walking around with different issues, regardless of what it is, I believe that every ailment has a emotional seed. Most of these seeds, and I usually can tell when I'm in front of somebody, I can just say, what happened when you were 3 or 4? But it's usually at a very young age. And some people say, well, I've had a great life. I've never had any trauma. And I'm like, well, were you born? Because being birthed is actually your first death experience. And people don't realize that. So you come in already with a birth trauma because you go from a water breather to an air breather. And that's why labor can be so intensive, because the body is pushing it out, and that young being doesn't want to go out.
Yeah.
It has to give up its life as it knows it to come out. We're one of the only species that switch elements, have double elements, like the butterfly and the frog.
Never even looked at it that way. I'm so glad you came today. New thoughts for me to ponder tonight.
Yes.
So for people that want to actually be able to get to meet you and see what you're all about, you have an event going on tomorrow at Luminosity Wellness Center. Is this correct?
I do. I'm so excited about it.
Yay!
Yeah, it's the first time I'm going to be able to show my slideshow in Las Vegas, and it's going to be wonderful. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff. We're going to go on a journey of wellness, and I'm going to kind of meander through all the different aspects of it. It is an overview, but there will be a lot of tidbits and a lot of, bring a pen and paper, because there may be some things you want to jot down. I'm going to talk about specifics as well.
Now, this is actually a free event from what I'm seeing here. That's pretty awesome. So come one, come all?
Yes, we said the first 50 people would be without charge, and the
First 50.
Yes, and then the remainder, is an optional, is a donation. So I didn't put a price on it. My talks usually are not this way. It's the beginning of the year. I want to start the year off right. I love Luminosity, and I just feel it's a great way to take a step forward and get everybody in a great direction.
Yes, definitely. You have some really amazing topics that you're going to be covering tomorrow as well. Yes. How to stay 30 until you're 90, which that's another one of my favorite topics. What test will reveal most about your health? Secrets your MD may not want you to know, another great topic. And then also you have a Q&A, it looks like, as well, too. Is
yes,
that
there
correct?
will be questions and answers, and I always pass out little cards where people can write the questions so I can answer them towards the end. And I lost my train of thought, but I was going to say something about tomorrow, which was really...
Well, you're also doing a meet and greet, so if people want the opportunity to
that's
speak
true.
with you, then that will,
yes,
that will
at
be
6
available.
o'clock, 6 to 6:30. It's a nice, neat meet and greet, and it'll
Will
be
you have
awesome.
any of your amazing books available?
I will. There will be my books there, my CDs, all kinds of things.
So yes, definitely come down tomorrow for this free event, and not only buy yourself a copy of her wonderful book that you don't need to be a practitioner to
No, you
use
do
this
not.
book, do you?
No,
Yeah,
that
I
book
mean
is
this
made
is
for everybody.
This book is for everybody. So definitely come down to Luminosity Center tomorrow. It's 2400 North Tenaya. I was almost
Right.
getting mixed up with my address. It come down at 6 o'clock. It is free for the first 30 people. Buy a book, get it signed by her.
And may I say something
first
to your
50.
audience?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you have to know, tomorrow is the last day of the waning moon, and
I don't know what that is.
oh, okay.
What is that?
Well, the cycle, I follow the cycle of the moon, but the cycle of the moon, where energy builds and energy is then released. A new moon, or the dark moon, is actually the beginning of the new waxing, the getting bigger, okay, of the moon. Right. Tomorrow there'll be a lot of people that will simply go, oh, I'm just too tired. I was going to go, but I'm not. This is the energies that can hit you. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up in the morning.
If you get that feeling, it's
Ignore
natural.
it. Just get your coat on and say, you know what? This is the energy that's coming in, and I am just going to walk through it, and I'm going to get there.
And I can tell you right now, you might be tired when you leave your house and get to Luminosity, but I guarantee you by the time you get done listening to Sheila speak, you will be full of energy.
That's true. We're going to fill up that room.
And the weather is looking nice tomorrow too, so hopefully that will help with the sun brightening up the day.
Yes, yes. All right, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break here, and we will be right back. You're listening to the Luminosity Wellness Radio Show. Welcome back to Luminosity Wellness Radio. I'm Jeff Brunell. I'm here with my co-host, Josh
Mr.
Carpenter, Mr. Blue. Today, unfortunately, we're out with our lovely co-host, Christine Essex. She is gone today. But we have our wonderful guest, Sheila Z., who's been sitting here talking to us about her wonderful book, Anatomy of Healing and Wellness, and her special event that she has going on tomorrow at Luminosity Wellness Center.
At 6:30 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes. And my CDs will be there, my channeled music, all my other books, have a whole plethora of things people can look through. And
So you have several other books, right? About
Yes.
5, 6 books, is that what
I have 5 publications. 3 of them are in print. I'm rewriting Language of the Cosmos, which is talks about the energy of the cosmos and how it affects you on a daily basis. I'm rewriting that book so it's off the market. Intentional Wellness, which is the name of my retreat and my workshop. I've taken that off the market because I don't have an upcoming one probably till later this year or next year.
Supply and demand, people.
Yes, that's right.
Call in now.
That's right. So, yeah.
Cool.
But everything
Awesome.
else would be there.
So Jeff and I at the beginning of the show, we were talking about the holidays and what we were doing. I just wanted to touch base with you and ask how was your holiday and what did you end up doing?
I'm so glad you asked. Okay, here it goes. I had Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo! I was gone for a couple of weeks. I went down to L.A. My children, my daughter and her family, I just bought a new place down in Southern California near the beach, and we spent uneventful, lovely Christmas there. Made dozens, hundreds of Christmas cookies, of which I absolutely ate until I don't know. I couldn't even walk. But then we all got in the car. They have another home up in Northern California.
Were they Sheila Z cookies or were they?
No, they were not.
They were regular.
Traditional, full of everything, mainly sugar, and decorated. I mean, the whole family was decorating them. I can't think how many years it's been since I've done that. And I just lost complete control and dove in.
This is a rarity for those that don't know Sheila Z, just saying.
Yeah. And then we got in the car and drove 8 hours up to their home in the freezing mountains up near Lake Tahoe. And it was 30 degrees outside. Their home actually is heated by the floor. So when we got there, it was 40 degrees inside the house, and it takes 24 hours to heat the floor. All of the children, all my grandkids were sick with colds. It was incredible. And then it was like ice, really icy, and everybody wanted to go sledding. So here I go. They're like, Grandma, don't you want to sled? I'm like, what? It's solid ice. I mean, if it were powder, that'd be one thing. So they hand me this dish, whatever, this round thing. So
Was it metal?
Yeah, yes, I believe so. And so I had to do it. I don't know. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. And so I actually went sledding on ice, and it was like being on the Matterhorn ride or something. I got just bumped and bruised everywhere.
Oh yeah, when you sit on those sleds and you go over a hill and your butt hits it, you're literally walking funny by the time you get up.
So it was fun and it was wonderful, but I just have to say I'm very happy to be home. Yes, I'm so happy to be home.
Well, we're glad you're here in one piece.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And that you indulged in a cookie,
Oh, no, it wasn't a cookie. I had 5 cookies before breakfast one
I was
morning.
being nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm being honest. You know me in truth. Whatever it is.
Hey, we have to enjoy life every now and then.
That's so true.
True. So, what do we have coming up, Jeff?
All right, next week on the show we have Julianne Char. She's going to talk about her upcoming class, Affirmation Creation class, which is a wonderful class. That will be at the Luminosity Wellness Center on January 29th, so she will be here next week talking about that. We'll also next week we'll have Rachel Blue, and she will be sharing about her group clearing that she'll be holding at the Luminosity Wellness Center on February 5th from 7 to 9. So we'll have both of those guests next week. And we have Sheila Z coming tomorrow at the Luminosity Wellness Center. So anybody out there, definitely come and attend this event. As you heard just now, she is a fabulous person, absolutely intelligent on her field. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I will be sitting there listening with my pen and paper for sure. And then I definitely have some classes coming up this month at the Luminosity Wellness Center. I will be doing 4 different theta healing classes. I'll be doing basic DNA and advanced DNA. I'll be doing rhythm for finding your perfect weight and dig deeper. So those will all be towards the end of the month. So you can go onto my website, thesacredartofhealing.com, and check those out. And do you want to give a quick shout out about any of your websites, Sheila?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you. TrueLife-Solutions.com. TrueLife-Solutions.com is my main website. You can hook up with me on Facebook, Sheila Z. Sterling with an I, Stirling. I have many, many websites, so I also have a website just for the book, anatomyofhealingandwellness.com. TrueLife-Solutions.com is a great place to start.
Yes, if you get there, then you'll have our social links to where they can connect with you on social media as well, correct? Speaking of social media, you can find Luminosity Wellness Radio and Luminosity Wellness Center on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, YouTube, and also on the websites luminositywellnessradio.com or luminositywellnesscenter.com. The website is under construction for Luminosity Wellness Center, so just be patient with us as we continue to grow that and make it stronger for more informative information for all of you. And that is the social shout out. Back to you, Jeff.
Yes. All right. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you, Sheila, for coming in. It was wonderful talking to you
Yes.
today.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to send our love out to Christine Essex and her
Yes.
family and wish everybody well there. Please listen in for next week when we have Julianne Char and Rachel Blue. It should be a fabulous show. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you then.